Aloha and welcome to another episode of the Ascension Cast. We're here today with Kirk, and I'm Brian Daniel Edwards.
Aloha to you.
So, we're going to talk about expectations today, which is a very important topic in pretty much all aspects of your life. So, it was your idea to talk about it. So, let's kind of start it from your side.
Right. I mean, that's what was coming up for me this week when we were talking earlier about expectations, having expectations on someone. Like it's coming up for me this week, and this has been a theme in my life for the past couple of years, where I have an expectation that this person was supposed to make things equal or fair. And I don't know where this came from in my head because I know that this person has a good moral compass. And so I put this unrealistic expectations on them. And then when I see them breaking it, it's just destroyed my whole world view of them. And most important thing, I think, is it creates a resentment when they're not conforming to my thoughts that they should be. And so that's what I'm struggling with now, like having expectations form into resentments of people, and which is all my creating. And I'm like stuck there. So that's where I'm at this week with expectations. That's why I thought I'd bring it up.
Yeah, I mean, they cause so many problems, expectations. And for me, it's a common thing, setting expectations, because when I look at people, I can see their soul level potential. I meet people and I'm like, oh, you're capable of greatness. But the problem is that's not where they are right now. And that's potential. They may never choose that path that leads them to greatness. So having these expectations only sets us up for disappointment. And then, once we're disappointed for long enough because they're not meeting our expectations, it can lead to resentment, like you said.
Yeah, it's a gross evolution. And so it's like, how do I stop it from festering? And one thing that helps me generally is prayer, praying for that person, that they have health, happiness, peace, and prosperity, and literally visualizing in my mind them having each one of these four things. And it's a practice that I do every morning and night, and when I remember to. And it does help to neutralize it all a little bit. And so I don't know, it doesn't completely fix it for me, but it definitely is a start.
Yeah. And part of it is just recognizing where they're at. For me, a big thing is I see their potential, and they may never realize that potential in this lifetime. So it's just taking that inventory of where are we at right now? So coming in, not setting, oh, they are going to do this. It's like, okay, in your case, what's going on now? What's going on? And not setting expectations for what's going on in the future, which is the same thing for me. It's being present in the moment. Okay, where are they at right now? I need to meet them there. Not, wow, you have the ability to be this great remote viewer, or, oh, you can be this huge healer and help many people. They have that potential. That's a potentiality that they can choose, but it doesn't necessarily mean they will. They may not in this lifetime at all. They may never, but that potentiality remains there. Yeah. And it's so frustrating, like that whole adage of you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. And so many times as a healer, you see people making stupid choices. And being a Marine, there's different types of healing. I try to show up and be compassionate and loving, but sometimes people need tough love. So I show up with not necessarily how they want me to show up, but how they need me to show up. If people are making stupid choices over and over and over again, I'll tell them, knock off the booze and bullshit, especially if they're drowning in drama, they're drowning in alcohol or drugs. I'll, instead of like, oh, that's okay, choose better the next time, no, knock off the booze and bullshit. Or if they're doing so many times, the problems that people face and the problems they're dealing with are caused by them. So, sometimes they don't see it, but sometimes these choices they're making should be glaringly obvious that that's causing the problem. So I'll, kind of hint at it. I'll suggest it. I'll tell them what's going on. And then eventually I'll get to the point where quit being a dumbass. You need to fix your shit.
Yeah. I know my greatest change in life has come from not when people are all flowery with me, but has turned up the volume with certain things. And it's when I actually pay attention for sure.
Yeah. Let me pull up the comments tab. Okay, we're up there. So if anybody's watching, feel free to throw a comment up there. Ask any questions that you have. If you are watching this as a pre-recorded, sorry, we won't be able to, but we'll go back and look at the comments and try and get back to you at a later date if you're not watching this live. But we do restream these so more people get to see it, because not everybody can tune in when we're running it the first time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but expectations are horrible. Like, especially with women. Women are very great for this in a relationship. They're like, well, you should have done that. I'm like, well, how did I know how to do that? Well, you should have just known. You should have known that I wanted you to do that, or you should have known that. I'm like, okay, wait a second. Taking psychic abilities out of this, men aren't mind readers. And I've coached a lot of women. I've helped a lot of women with this as well. They're like, oh, he's not doing this in the relationship. Well, did you tell him that you want him to do that? Or did you tell him to stop doing that? Well, no, but he should just know. Right. He's a dude. No, he doesn't just know. You need to be explicit. And this is huge advice for all women out there. Be explicit. Men don't mind read. Men don't pick up on cues. You need to be very explicit and very matter of fact about what you want, not hint at it, not suggest it, not hope that they just guess it. It doesn't work that way with men. So just come out and say what you want. It'll save your relationship instead of having the man guess. And that's a huge part of it. The expectation that they should just know. And I mean, a lot of relationships are guilty of this. I mean, have you seen this in your personal relationships?
Yeah, I was going to say, ladies, instead of going through, pass up the mind reading and go straight to the nagging.
Yeah. I've seen that so many times. They, like, oh, he should have known that. And then they go straight from, instead of asking nicely for it or, saying, hey, can you do that for me? It goes like, oh, you haven't done this and blah, blah, blah. Well, this is the first time I'm hearing about this. You've never asked me this before. So, it jumps right from you should have known to being a Karen. So that's one of the biggest turnoffs for me in a relationship where it's, they're being a Karen. It's just, nagging and, I'm dealing with my own stuff. And as a man, I try to be the rock in a relationship. And, a lot of people may disagree with this, but in certain cultures, the men are expected to lead the women because the men have a logical mindset. Women feel this, women feel that, women feel that. And when you feel, you can feel yourself in a circle. I was dating this one girl and she's like, oh, I feel like I want to go to this dance class tonight, but I feel like I should go to the yoga because I haven't been to yoga, but I feel like I want to spend time with you, but I feel like I should go to the yoga because I haven't been there, but I feel like I want to go to this thing, so you'll be like, okay, well, here, yoga, you haven't been there in a long time. You can go any night of the week. This dance class only happens, once a month or something. Well, okay, let's add some logic. Let's add some reason to this. What's the most rare? What's the most scarce? What's the, so kind of going through and actually using logic to go, what's the best outcome? I feel this, but I feel that, but I feel that. So they can spend, And in that relationship, we had to stop and sit down and talk about her feelings for hours. And there was she didn't want a resolution. She just wanted to talk about her feelings. So we never ended up doing anything. It was always just sitting around talking about feelings instead of going and doing something. It was so that just, it never went anywhere because we're constantly talking about feelings.
So you're saying that you never took her to dancing class?
No, that I don't know why that didn't happen. It was a very short-term thing.
Yeah, pick the yoga.
Well, yeah, I understand why it was a short-term thing. That was there was entities involved and some schizophrenia involved, and I mean actual head injuries where she had actually cracked her skull. So there was, yeah, that was interesting. But so it's using a little bit, and this is another huge expectation that everybody is having the same experience we are. If you eat a food, you go, I bet the person across the table eating the same food is having the same experience I am. No, they might be allergic to the food that you serve them and they're having a terrible time, or maybe they don't like it and they're just putting on a happy face and like, oh yeah, this is good, and they're actually thinking it's terrible. And I mean that goes for music, that goes for movies, that goes for so we have this expectation that it's everybody thinks the same way we do. And then there's this weird modern expectation that men and women are the same. We're not. We're not. The way we're wired, our biology, our chemistry, completely different. When men, I mean, this is kind of an extreme.
You think that that's just common sense.
Yeah. I mean, this is an extreme example. When men take steroids, they get highly aggressive. So what does that tell you? The extra testosterone makes them more assertive, makes them more aggressive. And when you take extreme amounts like that, it becomes exaggerated. It's like a hyperbole of what men experience in a day-to-day basis. And the men are, if you're healthy, have high testosterone all the time. So you should be pretty normalized, pretty even keel the whole month through. I mean, you can eat foods that lower your testosterone. You can have dramatic things that happen. So it isn't, 100%. But women fluctuate between estrogen, progesterone, oestrogen, prolactin. Like they have this whole cocktail of hormones, which is constantly changing. Then, you come into PMS and their hormones are changing, getting ready for their menstrual cycle. And then, their hormones change when they're getting ready for ovulation. Then almost immediately after ovulation, they experience this crash. And I was dealing with someone and I couldn't figure it out. She seemed to have a crash twice a month. Okay, the PMS, that makes sense, but it didn't make sense why there was 2 crashes a month. Then I realized it was the post-ovulation hormone crash she was experiencing that kind of threw her into a tailspin. So she'd have mood crashes twice a month. Men don't have that. Women think different. They're wired for nurturing. They've always been the caretakers. They're raising children, so they're meant to be very kind and caring. And men, and this is also why I enjoy working with women for psychic abilities. They've been wired to be psychic because they have a psychic link to their children. Whereas men, it's been programmed out of them because men have been in that protector role, that hunting role. So if you are bashing someone over the head, you don't want to necessarily feel what they're experiencing. If you are killing an animal to come home, drag it home and put it on the kitchen table for your family, you don't want to feel what that animal feels. But now
well, I mean, I think it's a different avenue too. Having instincts, the primal urge to hunt is an instinct, an intuition, a form of intuition. So, but I think you're right. It's definitely a different path
Yeah.
to intuition than women.
Now, here's the interesting part. If you can feel, if you can be open, say almost like a Shaolin warrior monk, if you can have these psychic abilities and feel what the person is experiencing and still be able to do your job as a warrior, that's a whole different level, a whole different experience to be able to feel that. Or as a healer, I have been kind of a death shaman. I've crossed a lot of people and animals over. Sometimes I'm just there when they're dying, but sometimes for animals, they've been mortally wounded and I ended up putting them out of their misery. And I can actually feel what they're experiencing. I can feel their emotions. I can feel their physical pain. And to be able to still show up and assist them in crossing over, it's a very unique experience to feel them in the pain they're in and then feel them leaving their body.
I had a friend a long time ago tell me that animals leave their bodies before death so they don't experience the pain of it. And then I never knew if that was true or not. It's a nice thought to have, that the animal soul will leave its body before death occurs to not experience the pain of it. Like that's a lovely thought, but what you're saying is that that's not necessarily true.
Oh boy, that gets into so maybe I can feel their life force. So you have multiple components to your body. You have a physical body, you have your soul or your mental body, and then you have your spirit, which is your energetic body. So it's which is leaving when. So maybe your soul steps out and kind of watches this whole thing happen, or just your soul steps out, but at some point in time the spirit leaves the body. So I maybe when I'm feeling that, I'm actually feeling the spirit leaving the physical body, and the deanimation process of that body as opposed to the soul leaving.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of nuance to that. So it's possible. I know I got shot and I died. This is a parallel life that I was living. And yeah, I probably won't go into the exact details of it, but I was working in a military role, let's say, and I got shot. I don't want to give too many details around it, but I got shot, one shot in the chest. It felt like a burning, searing hot poker going in. And then it was just kind of like, oh, I started like drifting back out of my body and all the pain went away. And then I felt the next shots, the follow-up shots, and it just felt like warm pillows, thud, thud, thud. And it didn't even hurt. It was just, I could feel them hitting, but it just felt like warm pillows hitting me. And I'm like, oh, okay, it's just time for me to go. And so then I went, and then I woke up back into this body. And at first, that consciousness was at the forefront. It was part of my greater oversoul, or it was part of me. I was living a parallel life. But then to come into this body felt like it didn't fit. It felt weird compared to what I was used to feeling. I was looking around me. I'm going, where am I? What? I don't recognize any of this. And then that consciousness kind of went to the back and my normal consciousness came back forward, and I'm going, what just happened? That was wild. So then, doing some remote viewing into that, and working with other viewers and different psychics, and so I kind of figured out what happened and why, and that was probably almost a decade ago now. I'm still working on gleaning insight into that life and now understand what happened, what mission I was on, and everything. But yeah, very interesting to have that parallel life and actually experience a death in this lifetime. I mean, along with actually getting killed and almost killed a few times. but that was not a near-death experience. That was a 100% I died experience. That body was decommissioned, and then that soul fragment came back into to merge into this being, this body.
Wow. I don't know how we got on that topic, but that's interesting. We drifted right into that.
About expectations and animals.
Oh yeah.
We got there. Interesting
I
segment.
remember it wasn't long ago where you said that you watched a baby deer get hit by a car at your house, and you had to take it. You had to send it on its way because it was too far gone.
That was actually out west when I was in Arizona.
I thought it was
a little baby mule deer. I saw it in the road. I'm like, okay, let's just move your body, so out of kind of respect, so it isn't just getting ground into the asphalt. Then I went to pick it up, and it lifted its head, and then it started, got up and started walking away. And I'm like, oh, you're fine. And then all of a sudden it just collapsed forward and blood just poured out of its mouth, and it was just seizuring. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's cross you over. I'm sorry.
Yeah. You were out west when that happened?
Yeah.
I feel like that wasn't that long ago.
I know. That was 23. That seems like just yesterday.
No way.
Yeah, I can't believe it's now 25.
Wow.
I mean, I was just in Mexico yesterday, it seemed like. And then Australia, and then Hawaii. It's just, I think this is the longest I've been in one location. I'm
still stuck on the little deer.
Yeah, it was sad. It's hard to see them at the beginning of their life. Yeah. Right. I mean, there's another time where, this was in Ohio, it was stuck in a fence and it was trying to get to its mother. And instead of letting it run back into the road, I was actually able to grab it and get it unlodged from the fence and then reunite it back with its mother. So not all stories have a sad ending, but I show up as I'm needed. And my job isn't always a happy one, but I try and help in whatever capacity I can.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You're great, but your mustache is great.
Oh, thank you. So, okay. We are streaming on Instagram. I forgot to hit live. When we went live on this, I was supposed to hit live on that because they can't make it easy or anything. But now it's working. So I don't know anyone on Instagram. If you missed the first part of it, I'm sorry. My mistake. It's a little bit complicated to get all the moving pieces working, but we're here now.
Well, we streamed on YouTube. That's good.
Yeah, we're on YouTube. We're on Facebook. If we get you logged in, you can. Oh, you don't have Facebook. Never mind. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, social media is better in my experience. For me, the only thing I really have is YouTube, but it's for me, it just serves as a distraction for my ego, and I noticed that either it's propping up my ego or deflating my ego, and really that's the only purpose Facebook has ever served me. So besides being connected with people, so I'm like, I don't need this ego boost or ego taunt. I need to focus on my real life and, for the best of it.
Yeah, I mean, I know I was waiting to hear back from someone, and I just, I kept looking for the message, and then when I'd forget I was looking for the message, and then I'd just start doom scrolling, and then I'd be scrolling for so long I would forget what I was even looking for or what I was looking at.
Or comparing is despairing. Like I compare my life to other people's lives, or my outside appearances to other people's outside appearances, or my inside appearance to other people's outside appearances. You know what I mean? All that comparing for me is just it never leads anywhere positive. So I haven't been on Facebook since like 2016, less than that.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of just live. I don't have that comparing thing going on. I just
Right.
live unapologetically as me, and but then again, I'm internally motivated. So the drill instructors found this out. No amount of punishment nor reward could get me to move faster than I wanted to move. So if I wanted to move fast, oh, nothing could slow me down. But if I was not feeling it, it's being internally motivated. It's really hard to influence. So, we're talking about that just a minute ago. That I was told that I might have to shave my beard for a job. Okay, well, thank you, no, thank you. I don't need that job. So you can't buy me. So it's and actually deep diving into some of the money blocks that I've had. It's gotten to, in hypnosis sessions or other coaching sessions, it's gotten to, well, you don't actually value money. I'm like, oh no, not really, because I always just actualize what I need. If I need a new car, boom, it's there. If I need, anything, it just always shows up. I don't have to worry about how. I don't have to worry about the mechanics of manifestation. It just actualizes.
Right. Yeah.
Which is something interesting. That book you talked about, you sent me, that really kind of started me pulling at threads about just feeling what you want as if you already had it. But then I read another book and it added a couple extra layers to it. It's, feeling that you already have it. It's, seeing enough proof that other people can do it and read about that and watch videos of people that have been there. But then it's acclimatizing your nervous system to it and then integrating it into your core identity that you already have it. But then along that, at the same time,
Neville Goddard.
yeah, I talked to Frank. He just did a ketamine journey at that same time. And he came back and got this information that it's all about tuning the subconscious mind into which timeline we want to be on. And like multiple people kind of came forward with similar topics all at the same time. I'm like, oh, okay. So our subconscious mind has us focusing on this reality. But if we tune the radio just a little bit different, it'll be picking up a different channel, if that makes any sense. So when our subconscious mind is tuned into this and focusing on this, if we can change our frequency, or the almost like tuning a radio, all of a sudden we'll just wake up into a different timeline where we have exactly what we want. But it has to be a hard program in that reality. It has to be, we have to actually truly believe we have it. Our nervous system has to be okay with it. And, it has to be part of our identity that we have it. And then you basically reboot into that timeline.
I like that. It is an expansion on Neville Goddard's technique of, feeling is the secret is the book that you're talking about, which is a quick read.
It was good. I listened to it while I was out driving, and
like 1940s. Yeah, 1950s. I think he was.
We like to discount it as them being less enlightened, and we're in this more enlightened period. But there is a lot of stuff that came from the Victorian era, that came from the 1900s, the 1950s. There's a lot, like the Think and Grow Rich. That was kind of manifestation techniques. That was talking about a lot of super successful people, and there's a lot of good information that was already out there, and a lot of people are just kind of regurgitating stuff from 50 or 100 years ago.
What'd you call it? Road rich?
Was it?
What was
Oh,
the
Think
term you
and
used?
Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill.
Oh,
Now, there's, yeah, I don't know. I get kind of a creepy feeling in parts of it. It talks about writing a contract and saying what you're willing to give up to achieve your goal of what you want. And it's talking about some of these uber rich people. It's like, well, what did they give up to get what they want? It's so coming from another side of knowing how dark things can get, I'm like, okay, you're dealing with these, highly wealthy people that are oftentimes in dark occult orders. It's like, okay, you're kind of hinting at selling your soul there. Is that what you're? And then another one, he did have a book called Conversations with the
yeah.
Devil or something. Let me
Right.
look
They
that
haven't
up.
given up anything. Oh, nice. Well, you got to think major corporations aren't giving up something. They're forcing others to give up something.
So he wrote a book, Outwitting the Devil. I didn't read that one, but I'm like, okay, the devil's pretty cunning and clever, and you think you're clever, more clever than that, and you can outwit the devil. Okay, so then that kind of, once I read Think and Grow Rich, and you're like, oh, write a contract and say what you're willing to give up for that. I'm like, that sounds a little bit dark. And then when I saw that he had Outwitting the Devil was another book he wrote, I'm like, oh, okay, it probably does. Let's just call a spade a spade. You're telling people to sell their soul for, for fame, riches, and glory. No, that's a really bad thing. You never, no. You own one thing, and that's your soul.
Hey, is it laggy on your end again?
What's that?
Is it laggy on your end again?
I'm not sure. I'm still plugged in.
Okay, could be just me.
I think by plugging the Ethernet cable in, it did actually help with the lagginess. So, do we have? Oh, no comments just yet. So, anything else you want to talk about with the expectations?
Not that I can think of.
No, we just hit 33:33.
Nice. That's funny that you noticed that. I also noticed that you see a lot of numbers and license plates.
Yeah.
Which I necessarily don't get license plates often, but I talked about this. I see the number 21 every day, and it's like my sobriety date is 7/21. Okay, and my great grandma's birthday is 10/21. So 21 has always held significance for me. 21. It reminds me of my great grandma, and then my sobriety date. So I will see it every day, and I ask now, Spirit, okay, can you show me more? Like, thank you for 21. I accept it. I download it. Thank you. Please show me more. Show me more. So recently, it was funny. The other day, I saw 21/21. Like I was driving 21 miles, and it was going to take me 21 minutes to get there. So I was like, oh, that's cute. I see double 21 now. So like, what else is possible?
Yeah. It was. I
looked at 21 on school buses. Like I'll see it on school buses. I'll see it on a mailbox and someone's address when I'm like looking that way for, not even looking for it. So it's pretty fun. It's fun. Like
the other day I had driven like 44 miles. My car was at 44.4 miles per gallon, and it was 444. I'm like, okay, this has to mean something.
Nice.
Because there's you get a red Jeep Liberty or red Jeep Wrangler, and then you start seeing them everywhere on the road. Well, it's your mind is now it's at the forefront of your mind, so you pick up on it. I saw this guy play an electronic sound. You listen to um, the clip twice through, and you couldn't make anything out of it. Then he played an audio of someone saying something. I can't remember what it was, but then he went back and played that basically electronic screeching sound, and then you could make out that it sounds like it's saying the same thing as the person said. So a lot of it is filters that we put through our consciousness. So unless you're looking for something, you're not going to see it. Just like psychic abilities, a lot of people have them. They don't realize they have them because they haven't been called psychic abilities. So I'll ask people, do you have psychic abilities? And I know the answer to the question. And they say, no, I don't. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, do you get a good gut feeling? Do you have a good instinct? They're like, oh, yeah. I'm like, well, that's a psychic ability. So if they're not thinking in terms of that, they're going to assume that they don't actually have a psychic ability until you tell them, yeah, you do have a psychic ability. Then they'll start kind of back checking it, and they'll go, oh, well, yeah, I knew that before that was going to happen. I knew that before that was going to happen. And then all of a sudden they're going, oh, I've been psychic this whole time. So just like 21, you probably before that saw it all the time.
How does one grow? Yeah, maybe, but now it's just like obvious all the time.
Yeah,
and it's just popping out. For me, it's spirit. For me, it's spirit telling me that I'm on the right path, and then I need to stay clean and sober. Basically, I think that's really what it's telling me.
Yeah.
So how does one grow with their psychic abilities then?
How do you grow your endurance or your muscles?
Diet and exercise.
You train, you exercise, you use them. How do you grow your psychic muscles?
Diet and exercise.
Well, yeah, I wasn't even going to say diet, but yeah, you're actually 100% true there. The fluoride, the pharmaceuticals, all those things block your psychic abilities. So yeah, you're actually spot on. So diet, exercise, and practice. So the more you use them, the more you practice with them, the more they'll just come second nature to you. And
that's true. My when I started meditating heavily, I would get during meditation, my forehead would start tickling. And it was such a distraction when I was meditating. I would like start scratching my forehead and like, why is my forehead tickling? Like someone was tickling me. And like, stop, And it took me a while to figure out, oh, this is my third eye opening. Like I didn't even recognize it probably for a few months. Like that was going on. I just thought it was this weird sensation I was having. And then I noticed whenever I would stop to be aware of the sensation, it would kind of go away. Like stop it, And then I came to me like, well, this is my third eye opening, and so that's when my psychic abilities really started taking off, and I could not only feel people physically, but I could feel people through an email or through the television or on an airplane, like from a distance. Like I could feel people psychically from a distance or through time and space, which was trippy. And that's kind of where you came into my life, is when I met you kind of around that time, because it was a lot to handle, and I couldn't really make sense of it. But yeah, interesting timing.
Like a radio or an old analog TV, it's receiving all the channels at once, but it's what frequency are you tuning into? So yeah, the better your antenna is, the more the more dialed in you get it, the clearer picture it's gonna have. But the signal's always there. It's the biggest thing is, are you listening? And oftentimes people like most people just kind of like try and wipe their head. Oh, that's weird. Why do I have a headache? Without even realizing that's third eye opening. If you're around people and they're sad and you're sad, you're like, oh, it's just common. Well, no, that's actually empathic. You're feeling what they're feeling. So it's tuning into that. It's practicing that. It's realizing what you're experiencing. It's kind of refining your palate, let's say, almost like eating, you just, oh, it's food. Well, okay, can you start picking out the spices out of that food? You're receiving all these signals from all these different senses in your body. Can you start refining them and picking out individual, like, okay, I'm eating this dish. Can I taste the cumin in it? Can I taste the salt? Can I taste the pepper? Can I taste the lemon in it? Can I taste the orange zest? So the more you can start to pick out individual input happening in your body, so when you walk into a forest, okay, what are you feeling? Oh, I feel energy coming up. I'm absorbing energy. I feel this energy radiating off of this. I feel, so it's, I can hear something. My ears are ringing, or, hey, there's someone trying to talk to me, or, instead of just going, oh, that's visual noise, actually being able to tune in and go, oh, there's someone standing there. Or wow, I see energy or an aura. So a lot of it's just the practice, getting used to it. It's always there. It's just, are you tuning into it?
Yeah.
And we're now in the Kali Yuga. Well, actually, we're coming back up into the Satya Yuga, the golden age, the age of truth and enlightenment. I was told maybe a month ago that we jumped up in vibration up to there again. It's just people will have to try and realize that we're in there. The Iron Age is that raw, real bashing people's heads in and having to suffer, having to, be in that survival mode. But now everybody's coming up into their spiritual abilities and being in the, actually now exiting the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age. We've been through this whole cycle before. So anyone who's not a new soul, anyone who's been here more than a few lifetimes, already has that experience. So it's not a matter of learning it now. It's not going to take you lifetimes to learn these abilities. You already know. It's a matter of remembering, stepping back in, returning to who you were, not becoming something new. I mean, you are becoming something new. You had this, okay, you might have been in the last golden age, and then you drop down in the silver age and bronze age and iron age, and so you're not what you were in the last golden age. You're the sum total of all your experiences now. And I have some people that have told me they were some sort of special being in a past lifetime. Whether, I've heard so many people say they're the incarnation of Archangel Michael, or the incarnation of this, that, the other. But I ask those people, I'm like, okay, so what? Who are you now? What does that mean? What does being that special person in that that person in many lifetimes ago mean to you now? What are you now? Who are you now? You're no longer that person. You're the sum total of all those lifetimes combined. What are you now? What does that mean to you now? So it's a matter of remembering everything that you are. Even if you heavily identify with one lifetime, you're not just that one lifetime. You're the sum total of all the lifetimes. So I think he dropped off. I might be slightly out of focus. Yeah, I am out of focus. And I don't know where he went to. So if anyone's watching, feel free to throw comments up. I got to try and figure out why Kirk dropped out and get him back on. Yeah, I don't know where he went. His internet must have blacked out. Well, if there's anyone else out there that wants to come onto the show, feel free to send a comment. I can send you the link to come on. Okay, just got the message. His computer crashed. And you're back.
Sorry, I think it's my internet that's doing that.
Yeah, no worries.
I had to use the restroom anyway.
That's okay.
Well, it looks good better now. Like the quality of the video is a lot better.
Good. Yeah. Was it the internet or the computer crashed?
It's internet.
Okay.
What else?
Well, we're at 46 minutes. Do you have any other topics you'd like to talk about? No one's leaving comments right now, so we can keep going, or just wrap it up for the day, whatever you feel like.
I don't know what else to talk about right now. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Any last comments? Questions? Healing? Okay, well, I guess we can just end it for today, and we will come back hopefully next Sunday, but hopefully before then we'll get another broadcast in.
Yeah, thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Okay, let me just get to, feel free to say anything you want, and then we'll do the outro. So thanks for joining us, everyone. And as always, love and light to you all. Feel free to reach out to either of us if you have any questions for Kirk. I can definitely get you in touch with him. Feel free to reach out on Facebook or Instagram or drop a comment. We will try and answer it. Or if you need healing or help or coaching, feel free to reach out to us. Okay, you can say anything you'd like before we leave.
Yeah, just like you. Namaste, aloha, so much love.
Aloha, everyone. Thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you again the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed this video session. Please support the Infinite Love Movement by liking, sharing, and subscribing to our channel. Visit theinfinitelovemovement.org to sign up for healing sessions, classes, and events with Brian.